What is up, guys? What is happening? It's the Con Man, and I'm in your house. And this interview that I'm about to play for you guys is from the Squared Circle Expo VI in Indianapolis, Indiana. This past weekend, I got a chance to sit down and talk to Sean Ross Sapp from Fightful. We talked about this past Friday on SmackDown, where Sami Zayn became the new U.S. champion, Randy Orton continuing his descent into madness, and so much more. It was a great chat leading up to the road to WrestleMania. I hope I get a chance to work with him again in the future, but until then, I hope you enjoy this chat with myself and Sean Ross Sapp from Fightful. What is up, guys? It is Howse here for the In Your House podcast, and man, this is huge. We got the man, the myth, the legend himself, Sean Ross Sapp from Fightful, man. He's here on In Your House, dude. Thank you so much for your time.
Man, thank you for having me. It's wonderful. I love that we could make the time. Excited to talk some wrestling.
Absolutely, man. And I'll just straight up tell you, because we're going to talk a little bit of WWE, because a lot to talk about happened last night on SmackDown, and I want to get some of your thoughts on it. But first off, I want to say this, man. I've followed your work for a while, and like guys like you, CVV, and cats like that, like Wheezy Blonde. I just talked to her I just talked to her last week on a podcast with Wells Mania, hyping up this Squared Circle Expo, man.
Wells Mania too.
Yeah, I love that
Wells
cat.
Mania.
I love that cat, man. And like now I'm here with you, man. And I gotta ask you, or first tell you, man, you got the blueprint for what we're doing, dude. You're absolutely awesome.
The way that I always looked at it was, I was like, okay, what would I be interested in? Let's do that. Because if I'm interested in it, probably somebody else is as well. And ultimately, I've always felt like if you like pro wrestling, you probably got to be a creator of some sort, because you're suspending your disbelief already. So I think that's why there's so many great creators in wrestling. Like, you got to suspend your disbelief, and then you sort of accentuate that with the content that you make.
Oh, absolutely. No. And listen, man, we are here at the Squared Circle Expo. It's crazy here, man. And I had an idea that you might be here, but I wasn't for sure. And when I had the idea that you was going to be here, I was like, I got to talk to Sean Ross Sapp. I got to pick that dude's brain, man, most definitely. But I do want to talk some WWE with you, man.
Yeah, please.
So, listen, man, I had got back to the Airbnb. We're calling it IYH HQ, In Your House HQ for the weekend and whatnot. But we got home. We got back there. We were chilling, me and the whole team. I got my wife and son right over there. I got my guy, Hypocrisy Jones, right over here. What's up, Hype? And, like, we opened up our social medias because we didn't really get a chance to, because we've been here all Friday. And we got on there late last night, and my son was like, Sami Zayn is the United States champion. And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
What? So, and listen, I saw that you had reported, or somebody with your team had reported it.
To be fair, WrestleVotes reported it. I did not. That is why I'm not the only reporter on Fightful, contrary to what a lot of people on the internet believe. The gentleman at WrestleVotes reported that. But it was accurate.
Yeah.
By the way.
Oh, absolutely accurate. So I want to ask you this, because if you saw it, then you know that it was, Trick Williams kind of had something to do with this, but they've already dropped the graphic of Trick Williams versus Sami Zayn for the United States Championship at WrestleMania, and it has a lot of people talking because, in my opinion, Carmelo Hayes has had an amazing United States Championship run, and seemingly, as of right now, it looks like he might not have a place at WrestleMania now. What's your thoughts on that? Do you think maybe this is set in stone? Do you think we might get a triple threat, or what do you think?
I would make it a triple threat.
Yeah.
But I also, I see multiple sides of it. Sami Zayn has a lot of, like everybody who follows wrestling knows who Sami Zayn is. He's been a perennial world title contender. Trick Williams very clearly is going to be a world title contender. Like, he's got something very special that you can't teach, you can't bottle, you can't do any of that. But Carmelo overcame such horrible booking for a long time and had a really good United States title run.
Yes.
And I'm like, man, that work's got to mean something.
Yeah.
Especially this close to WrestleMania. I want it to mean something because, again, like, he had to overcome that bad booking, and he did it. Like, he didn't put on a boo-boo face. He didn't make anybody feel bad for him. He went out there and he did the work, and I just feel like he should be involved. And I wouldn't mind it being like the EO Sky thing last year, where he's like, I'm not an afterthought here. I can beat either one of you two.
Yeah.
And maybe that ends up leading to him getting involved and even maybe sneaking back that United States title, because that's what I would like to see. I just kind of feel like they'll just keep it Sami and Trick, but I want to see Carmelo involved.
Yeah, I most definitely want to see Carmelo involved as well. So I want to get your opinion on something, because I don't think it was like a hot take, but I think it was hot takey. Yeah. And I'm like, let me see what Sean Rice Sapp thinks about this, because on a podcast I did on In Your House, my podcast, HOWSC, I had said traditionally people look at the Intercontinental Championship as the workhorse title. But when I look at the landscape right now, it kind of feels like the United States Championship might be the current workhorse championship. What are your thoughts on that, Sean?
Yeah, I think the open challenge format really plays into that an awful lot. And unfortunately, with the Intercontinental title, it had been tied up with John Cena, who, listen, not unfortunately that he won it, but Dominic got hurt right after he won it back. Yeah. So he couldn't even defend it, much less be a workhorse with it. So I think that in that amount of time, like Carmelo Hayes and Ilya and even now Sami, they definitely sort of pushed that back for the United States title, and I agree with you. I think it's the workhorse title right now.
Oh, well, you hear that? That's from SRS himself, man. That's awesome. So I got to ask you, though, I got to get some of your thoughts on this current iteration of Randy Orton, because everybody's saying, oh, it's 09 Randy, it's 09 Randy. And listen, I'm here for it, bro. I remember back 09 Randy. I mean, he literally tried to kill John Cena with fireworks. I mean, come on, bro. But I want to get some of your thoughts, man. Do you think we have an 09 Randy Orton situation, or is this a completely different iteration?
I think it's a different iteration, because, like, you had him, like, you know, making out with people's wives, and but like there was the home invasion thing.
Oh
with
my
Triple
God,
H,
I remember.
Which, for some reason, they had like 7 cameras set up in Randy Orton's house. It didn't make any sense.
It didn't make no sense.
It didn't make any sense. You had him punting people. I don't think you can ever truly replicate 09 Orton without him punting people in the skull.
You gotta punt people, right?
You gotta punt people. Not to say that this one is bad. It's just also people love this version of Randy Orton. Like, they don't want to boo him. They all like him. So I think it's significantly different.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. But I will say this. He dropped Jelly Roll last night and I think that we're all getting to that point where we're like, we're trying to see how far we can get Randy Orton to go so where people will stop cheering this man. Yeah. What do you think we got to do to get him there?
Him hitting Jelly Roll ain't going to get him not cheered. And, like, listen, I think that, I don't agree with a lot of things that Jelly Roll has said of late, but, like, he's coming to wrestling. He's been very humble. Like, he politicked to lose his match a few months ago. So he's willing to do anything, but the crowd is just going to be like, oh, LOL, Randy beat up Jelly Roll. Because it's funny. It's hilarious. Like, how is it not entertaining? That's not going to get Randy Orton booed. You could do that in front of Jelly Roll's friends, family, and kids, and they would still cheer Randy Orton. Like, Randy's just one of those guys that, even if he's like not your favorite wrestler, everybody goes to a live event and you hear his music and they pop for it. Yeah. He's got that sort of cachet and that respect to him.
Yeah. I really think that this whole feud with Randy Orton and Cody Rhodes, because we saw Cody Rhodes return last night, and I had another thought. I want to get your thoughts on it. We saw Randy Orton turn up. Before Randy Orton turned up the way that he did and like leaned into heel, there was a lot of thoughts that it might be a fatal 4-way for the WWE Undisputed Championship at WrestleMania between Jacob Fatu, Drew McIntyre, Randy Orton, and Cody Rhodes. And I had a thought. I feel like, and I want your thoughts on it, I feel like they had the big Randy Orton heel turn to distract us and kind of move us away from that fatal 4-way, because now we have Jacob Fatu and Drew McIntyre in an unsanctioned match, which an unsanctioned match at WrestleMania feels so weird, because it's like, it's a WrestleMania match, but it's not going to count. It's not going to count. But do you feel that way, too? They were kind of trying to turn up Randy to kind of make us be like, hey, we don't really want that Fatal 4. We want crazy Randy Orton.
Yeah, and I heard back in January, like, somebody told me, oh, it's going to be Randy and Cody, and I was like, that's got to be wrong. Yeah. That doesn't even look like that's happening right now. What are you talking about? And it was in January, and it's funny. CJ Perry, Lana of all people, hit me up in January, and she's like, yo, I'm pretty sure that Randy Orton's going to win the Elimination Chamber. And I was like, you're crazy. What are you talking about? And then it happens, and I'm like, what did you know? And she's like, nothing. I just kind of guessed it. I was like, wait, what? I didn't see that coming at all. I thought it would be Sami maybe involved, like Drew may be involved. Of course, because he was the champion. Jacob Fatu looked like he was ascending there.
Yeah.
But no, it was Cody and Randy. And I do think that it was done to kind of get people to be like, all right, here's the very specific personal issue between Cody and Randy that doesn't involve Jacob and Drew, even though Jacob and Drew had been involved in very personal things with those two for quite a while, and you could have easily transitioned that in. And Sami as well. Sami could have very well been involved.
Yeah, listen, man, that's just wild. What do you think we're doing with Sami? Because, like, first he was kind of crashing out in the back or whatever, trying to take those opportunities. He took that opportunity last night and won the United States Championship. I know we kind of talked about him a little bit already and whatnot, but I do want to ask you this, though, because I myself am a huge fan of women's wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
Huge fan of women's wrestling. I want to ask you, do you think the whole situation with Jade Cargill and Rhea Ripley, we all know that, kind of things got kind of heated or whatever. Do you think that was real and they kind of worked it out and kind of turned it into an, because it kind of seems like they're kind of staying away from it, and a lot of people are kind of saying the build-up for those two has been a little bit on the weak side, because they haven't really tapped into what they were talking about as far as like on the social media stuff. What's your excitement level for Jade Cargill and Rhea Ripley?
I'm excited to see what they'll do, like how they'll make it work. Because listen, Jade Cargill's strengths are not in the ring. Rhea's are. It was a real situation, but like it's common for wrestlers to not like each other. Like if I reported every time wrestlers just disliked each other, that's all I'd report.
Yeah, you'd be all over the feed.
But they're also professionals and they'll work together. Like Thunder Rosa, Britt Baker, they didn't like each other, but they worked together. They never got into like fist fights backstage or anything like that. I don't expect Rhea and Jade to be unprofessional to one another backstage or anything like that. They're going to show up, they're going to do the job. But I also think that if I know those two, like I think they do, like they're going to want to prove a point. They know, like Jade knows the criticisms against her, and she's going to be like, okay, you all don't think I should be in a WrestleMania match or a main event or anything like that, and I think that she's going to go out and try to make a point. And I think that if this isn't the best match of her career, I think it'll be a top 5 match of her career to this point.
Wow, I like that answer a lot. I really do. I wanna stay real quick with the women's division, because this is the conversation. I literally asked the whole team last night this question, and now I want to ask you. You're building your women's mid-card division.
Yeah.
You can only pick one of these women to build your women's mid-card division around.
Okay.
All right? B-Fab,
Okay.
Maxine Dupree,
Okay.
or Kiana James.
Out of those three,
Yep.
I would probably go Maxine, just because she has shown she's got like a delivery on the mic that lands really, really well. I think that first off, B-Fab has been working her ass off to improve. She's at the dungeon all the time. Kiana has made great leaps. But with Maxine, I already see the promo delivery, and I'm like, oh, that's really good. Like the stuff she did with Becky. There are also little things she does from a charisma perspective in the ring that I think are helpful. I do think they did her a disservice being like, oh, okay, she can't do anything. Here's some montages. All of a sudden, she can ankle lock everybody. I'm like, that's not really the way it works. Mm-hmm. But she has taken what she can and made the best of it. But there's definitely, like, she's already at a top-level promo delivery area, I think.
I like that. Also, another thing I like about Maxine is I think she emotes really, really well. Her facial expressions, especially when she puts that ankle lock in, yes. I believe it, man. It's so good. So,
I think
man,
she'll be a good actress one day. Like, I think she'll transition to acting and do really well too.
I agree with that. All right, man. I'm not going to take up too much more of your time because this has already been way more than what I expected.
Oh, no.
So thank you so much, man. But one last question I have for you. Like I told you before, and I have no problem saying it again, guys like you, CVV, people like Wheezy Blonde and whatnot, you guys are like the blueprint for what people like us over here in your house are aspiring to do and continuing to grow and whatnot. The last question I have for you, Sean, what advice do you have for me as a content creator? Because I'm looking to pick your brain, and I just want to learn from the greats, and I consider you one of those.
I always tell people, create stuff that you would legitimately be interested in. Don't create something because you have to. But for anybody in content creation, if it's like, how can I expand or how can I even get started? I just tell them create. And that's an easy thing for me to say, but I did that. Like, there's 40 people that work for Fightful, but everybody has a job that I have done at some point. So when people are like, how do I get started? Everybody can start a free YouTube, a free Red Circle, Libsyn. They can start a free Patreon, write articles, do interviews, and you're like, oh, what? Nobody will do interviews with me. The lowest of the low indie wrestlers that are just getting started.
That's where we started.
And those people, when they make it to the top, will not forget that you cared about them when nobody else did. Like, that is very important. Do transcripts. If you do interviews with wrestlers, transcribe it, send it to wrestling websites, and then they will run it. If you can make their job easier for them, they will do that. Edit audio, learn to do reels, learn to do TikTok. I'm not a big TikTok guy, but I recognize that you gotta advance, because if you don't, you'll be like the newspaper people from the 90s who didn't advance to digital. You'll be like the digital people who didn't advance to YouTube and podcasts. Media is always evolving, and have a broad view of what media is. I'll give you an example. When people will ask like about Taylor Swift or Waffle House at press conferences, people will be like, are you mad about that? And I'm like, no, that's their media outlet asking what they want on their time. Media can be anything. If you want to run an entire website about what people want to eat at Waffle House, that's what you're choosing to do with your media outlet. Not everybody has to be super serious. Not everybody is going to not be serious. You have to embrace media for everything that it can be, because it is truly everything.
That's a great answer, and that's something I'm most definitely going to take to heart. So thank you for that advice, and thank you for your time as well, man. This was absolutely awesome.
It was a great time.
Thank you so much, man. Ladies and gentlemen, Fightful's Sean Ross Sapp.
Yo, house, in your house, in your house, in your house.